This is the original image that I took. I shot this at Alviso Adobe Park out in Pleasanton. And this is actually the original edit. So this is the way it used to look. And I applied the um, Maston preset. So I always use Maston for these. I just love the pastel-y, kind of airy, whimsical, filmy kind of look. So what I would normally do with this is I would normally in the past just kind of warm this up to my liking and make sure that mom's face doesn't look too red. So I think that looks pretty good. And I would be done. And then I watched Allie and I was like, oh my gosh, Allie is the bomb.com. So I decided to start playing around with some of my Greater Than Gatsby presets. And so let me just kind of show you guys what I did. So to get into Photoshop from Lightroom, I actually have a plugin. So I just kind of click right into my photo editing and then go into Photoshop. And I'm coming from the perspective, you guys, that like I am really, really, really new at Photoshop. So this would be probably good for somebody in the same boat as me. I'm not a Photoshopper, so don't laugh at my basics. So I'm going to hit Command plus to kind of zoom in here because I do want to get rid of some of the yucky stuff, and I'm going to use the clone stamp to do that really quick. So I'm just going to hit Option and then click to give myself some, I might want to use a little bit darker on that. So this is definitely something that is like not my forte, you guys, but I'm learning. So I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit in here to start out. And then I'm going to remove it from here too. So I'm just kind of clicking the option and then clicking and then just kind of going through and get rid of any of those things. So, okay. I might want to play around and just add some more greenery and get rid of some of the dirt in here, just because I think it's kind of janky, but anyways, so that's probably about where I'll play with that. Actually, I kind of don't like this right here, but anyways, okay. So I'm going to hit Command and the minus to get me back into like a full screen mode. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Greater Than Gatsby actions here, and I am going to select the Savory Film Base. So soft and bright. I'm a soft and bright kind of gal. But I'm starting to kind of play around with some different things, exploring, especially easy to do with family sessions. So I'm going to just hit play on that, and it's going to run the action. And so now you can kind of see how it gave it a little bit more of a color pop. So right there you can see the color pop there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the opacity down just a tad. So I just don't want it to be that poppy. It's too poppin' for me. All right. So then I'm going to choose ballet shoes because it gives it like a pastel-y kind of like, I'm not explaining it. It's like you'll see. So let's just run that. I'm going to hit play. This is like so much fun, this recording thing, you guys. I could be in love. But anyways, so there you can see it gave it a more of a pastel, almost like a matted kind of look. And I'm going to actually paint that off of them. I know some of you guys like to invert and paint on. I like to paint off. So I'm going to adjust the size of my brush. And the cool thing about these presets is it kind of tells you what color brush you should use to remove. So as you see, as I'm painting on the little girl, and I might just want to zoom in here just to make sure I don't get kind of crazy. I'm painting that action off of her because I don't actually want her to look like that. And I'll probably want to just change my brush size a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. to get onto her sleeves and her hands, as well as her feet, right in here. And then I'm going to take this off of Mom too. And you can see over here the little girl. I've actually taken that off of her. So I'm going to bump my brush up a little bit, my size. And I'm just going to paint this off of Mama. Boom. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you mess up, you can go back with the other color brush, the black brush, and add it back in if you mess it up. So, all right. What I will sometimes do to make sure that I didn't get like too crazy is I will actually bump the opacity up all the way just to make sure I didn't get anything too crazy on them. But now I'm going to bump this down to maybe about 50-ish. It's one of my favorites. I really love it. And so now I'm just going to kind of zoom out. And what I normally use a lot of is the Paddington, but I love blues for whatever reason, greens and blues. But I want to add a little bit of color to this, so I'm going to actually do Teddy Ruxpin. And I'm going to run the action on that. And so now it gave it a very like reddish color. So first I'm going to just brush it off of them really quick here. I see a lot of things in my future with this little recording thing I never even knew I had all these years. But the Learn to Love group inspires me. All your guys' talent inspires me. So I see Allie messaging right now on here. Who knows, she might be saying, girl, that looks a hot mess. But I don't think so. She's super supportive and awesome. So, and honest, which I love this group for too. Okay, so I have painted that off of Mom, and I'm going to drop the opacity down a lot on this, only because I feel like the Teddy Ruxpin is just kind of like a bit much. So I'm going to maybe take this to about a 30% opacity. So there you can see it just brings a little bit of like reds into the image for me. So I'm loving that. All right, so for now, I'm just going to go ahead and flatten this because I'm happy with the way that it looks. Okay, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is I love to add a little bit of movable color. So I'm going to add some pumpkin because I like the kind of orangish tones that the image has right now. And I'm just going to hit play. And these things give you a little pop-up, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to take my pop-up and I'm just going to move this thing. You can see it's like really over Mom. I don't know if you guys can see that right here. I'm going to move this up right into the sky here. So I just kind of play with it that way. So you can make it to the left, you can move it to the right. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to move this right up to the top, and I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the opacity on it. So this would be nothing. This would be the top. I'm just going to move it to about maybe 35-ish%. So you can see, just gave it a little bit of color on there. And then the next thing that I'm going to do, and this is why I don't like Photoshop, you guys, all these doggone steps. But I have to say, I cannot tell a lie, it does look super pretty. I really like it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add a secret one that I got from someone who shall remain nameless, but you guys might recognize this. But I'm going to add actually, let me go back. I'm going to go back to the Greater Than Gatsby, and I'm going to actually add my Bokeh. And I always use the Silky Rich Bokeh, like always. So I'm going to run the action on that, and it's going to actually flatten my image. So I need to make sure that this is the way that I want it, which I know it is. So I'm just going to run that. And it's going to tell you with the white layer mask selected, use the soft black brush to gradually remove excess blur from your subjects. So the way that I do this for me is I turn this up, I crank it to like 100%. Okay. So now I need to go over here and select my black brush, and I'm just gonna brush this off of Little Mama. Bam. And and I like to do this because it kind of tells me like how badly I mess up when I'm brushing, when I do the bokeh. So this is like me being a little bit lazy. Right now, I'll need to go back through this really quickly and fix what I messed up. But as you can see over here, they're coming through. So I'm just brushing this stuff off of them. Bam. Super fast, super easy, super cheating, I guess you can say. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of come in and I'm going to change to my white brush, and I'm just going to kind of clean up around the edges here. And I probably want to kind of get a little bit of a smaller brush. This makes it a little bit easier. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be bumping that opacity down a lot. I'm not going to be using my opacity this high on these people. It just doesn't look good. And go back, just clean this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out, and then now I'm going to play with my opacity on this thing here. I'm going to turn it way down. I like it to have a more realistic look, so I'm going to probably take this to about 20. Right now I have it at 22, so I think that looks pretty good. And then the last thing that I did was my secret vignette, which I got from a friend. And let's see here. Just gonna scroll through here. Here we go. Okay, so I love this woman's green vignette. Like, I love, love, love it. So when I play it, it's like a lot, but I actually keep it here for now. And I'm going to go through and let's see here. Am I on here? I want to take this off. This worked the last time. Why are you not working? I'm really fast here. Okay, this is giving me a little bit of an issue. And it's user error, you guys. User error. It's because I don't know what the heck I'm doing with Photoshop. Let's see. That will work. Okay, I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to take this off and try to run this again. Oops. Which I literally just did this a couple seconds ago, so I don't know why it's not working. But for all you green Photoshoppers that don't know what the heck you're doing, this is my life. All right, so let's try this again. Okay. I want to be able to get this, because it created a green hue on her, and I want to be able to get this off. Let's see. My opacity brush is at, yeah, so I don't know what's up. So let me increase the size here and see if that's actually coming off. It looks like it is. I don't know what's happening here. I just literally did this like 30 seconds ago, so I don't know why it's not coming off. Okay, well, what I would normally do in this situation is just delete it. Delete. I hate this because this is actually the way I think that made the picture really awesome when I just did it, and now it's not working. Let me try this. Let me flatten this. Boom. And then let's try that just one more time. I really want it to work because I love it so much. Okay. White takes off, right, you guys? Or black takes off. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got my black. Now I'm just removing the green from them. It only took me a couple times to figure that out, you guys. I'm sorry. I told you guys I don't know how to do no Photoshop. But here we go. Just gonna take that off of mama and baby. Bam. Okay, and I'm gonna take the opacity down on this quite a bit to about there. So you can kind of see it just gave it just some really pretty green. So I'm gonna drop that to about 35. And there we are. That's the way I finished the image. So I'm just gonna flatten it and I'm gonna save it. And when I save it, it'll pop back up into my Lightroom. So there we are. That was the one that bam. There we go. All right, so I hope that helps somebody because for me, it totally helped me watching Allie's video and then just gave me a chance to like play. So I'm kind of excited about learning more from this group and hopefully this helps somebody. See ya!